Live now is Liberal member for Goldstein. I think we can say that this morning, Tim. Tim Wilson joins us. Congratulations to you. You are the one bright spot for the Liberal Party. But as we sit here this morning, are you worried about what kind of parliament and what kind of arrangement you'll be walking into?
What I'm concerned about, Laura, and what I said throughout the entire campaign is I'm concerned about the direction of the country. The parliament is, of course, a reflection of that. It's going to be the one that decides the direction of the country. But I look at it presently and you see a government that got re-elected with a healthy majority. There's no point pretending otherwise. They're now going to drive their agenda. And a lot of the things they got elected on, people don't know about. Classic example is this family savings tax on unrealised capital gains. People didn't know they voted for that, and now they're going to try and ram it through, and they're going to come after the family savings of so many Australians, and our job is to hold them accountable and to stop it.
Did you campaign on that?
I did campaign on it because I knew just how important an issue it was to the Goldstein community, but more importantly, how important it is for the country. When you've got a government proposing a family savings tax that is incrementally going to draw in the wealth of the nation, we know very clearly that this is a huge threat to the future prosperity and aspiration of Australians, and that's why it's so important to fight it.
Why do you think you are the only Liberal to have won a seat at this election?
Well, there'll be lots of commentary and analysis, but when it comes down to it, after the 2022 election, we were honest with ourselves. We sat down, we looked at the campaign we'd had, we looked at the consequences and the vote and the result. We respected and heard the community and we listened to them, really deeply listened. What was the concerns? Why did they vote differently to the way they had traditionally? And what was going to be necessary for them to go back on the pathway to voting for us again? We then built out a campaign, a very substantial campaign, to fight and defeat the incumbent MP, and it looks as though very clearly we've done that. But one of the things also that's it's so important to understand, not just that we listen, the scale and the enormity of the campaign we faced up against. The Teals basically spent $2 million trying to defend Goldstein. We had a negative redistribution against us. We couldn't match them on money. And of course, as I said, we effectively lost votes at the stroke of the AEC. And we overcame all of that because we united, we focused, we turned to each other to make sure we were full barrel and making sure we took back Goldstein.
Have you had a phone call from Susan Lee?
I have had a number of phone calls from Susan Lee over the past 2 weeks, but I haven't spoken to her since the ballot the other day, and so apart from SMS exchanges.
That must indicate to me and our viewers that you will have some kind of front bench position. That's correct, isn't it?
Well, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the leader, of course. I'm expecting to have a chat with her. She said very clearly she wants to talk about what role people can play meaningfully in the conversation going forward and holding the government to account. But, you know, I've made it unambiguous. I am interested in standing up for small business. I am interested in standing up against Labor's family savings tax on unrealised capital gains. I am making sure very clear that economics must be the thrust and focus of this opposition. And there are lots of other topics I'm interested in, but, you know, I'm raring to go. I've spent 3 years on the benches and nobody would say anything other than I'm keen to throw my enthusiasm and energy into this next term of Parliament, and also, of course, to prosecute very strongly the best interests of the people of Goldstein.
Did David Littleproud blindside you?
Well, I haven't had a conversation with David, as you not surprised. Of course, we're waiting for the declaration of the result. I wasn't expecting this outcome. The decision has been made. But when it comes down to it, this gives us a really exciting opportunity as a Liberal Party to find our Liberal mojo juice again and to stand up, because presently I am the only city MP elected in the country for my party. That says something very concerning. I hope and pray Giselle wins in Bradfield, and literally I'm hoping and praying. But what that says is we've got to find our Liberal mojo juice if we want to be able to get on and represent the capital cities where the overwhelming majority of Australians are. And of course, this is an opportunity to do that. And you know, there are many things people will say about me. One of them is that I'm fierce, passionate, proud about being a Liberal, and I'm going to fight very hard to restore that Liberal ambition and that bold ambition that we must have.
Well, the Nationals think getting in the way, or potentially could have got in the way of the Liberals reclaiming or refinding that mojo juice, as you put it.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but we're a coalition of partners, but we need to be both bold, confident parties in our... Well, but that's it. Well, we were a coalition of parties, but you need to be bold and confident as separate entities if you want to come together in a respectful relationship. I believe very strongly that the Liberal Party must be its own bold, confident, future-focused party, standing up for what we believe in the best interests of people in the capital cities, of course, the peri-urban areas, all the way to rural and regional Australia. And we need to find not just what we stand for, but who we stand for, and do so with a vigour and a passion that means that when we work with the National Party, we do so understanding that we have our own set of core beliefs and we're going to find a way to work together, but from a position of strength.
Are those core beliefs largely unchanged? I mean, Susan Lee said you've got to be a modern party in and of itself, and one that reflects modern Australia as well. Do you think your principles didn't reflect that at the election, or your policies just didn't reflect that principle?
Well, you may recall back in 2019, I ran under a very strong brand of being a Liberal, but also being a modern Liberal. And I did that deliberately because I always believe we need to be a forward-looking, modern Liberal party, meeting not just meeting people where they are, as people are saying, but more importantly, leading them to the future and their better future. And so, I think that there were some deficiencies in our policy platform. Frankly, you need to paint a vision. You then need to outline policy stepping stones to get there, and then you have to tell the story about why people should walk towards it. That's what I want to see in our policy. I don't think we saw that the last election, and that is what I'm going to prosecute very strongly from here in.
Tim Wilson, good to finally talk to you and get you on AIM Agenda. We look forward to doing it many times in the future.
Look forward to it, Laura, and go D's.